So we're on this install on the 2015 Dodge Ram 3500, and we are going to start out with the middle section. So this is a 40-20-40 seat. We're going to do the 20 section first. It's a 3-piece 20 section. So there's going to be a lid, a backrest, and a bottom section as well. So 3 pieces there. So I got those 3 covers right now. And so let's start out with the lid cover. So that's this smaller one here, pretty skinny. I can tell that's the lid cover because of that. And so that's gonna fit over, and you can just kind of see how that is gonna fit. So I'm gonna slide that over, just like that, and just kind of snugs on here. And kind of just get it into place as you're doing that. Should be a pretty good snug fit. There's gonna be that cutout right there for the handle piece, so you can see that. And then also I'm gonna get these edges back and set up here. Okay, and now this Velcro flap, that is gonna attach to the other cover that is gonna go the 20 section backrest. So this backrest section, so I'll even do that next right here. This Velcro is gonna attach to that other cover. So we're gonna get this next one put on, kind of form that down into place. Push that bottom cover through right there. And we're gonna kind of work this down a little bit more. You want this front flap to really kind of line up right there. And so I'm gonna need to pull this through a little bit more. And so you just have to work that down and make sure everything's lining up. These Velcro pieces here are gonna attach down to some sticky Velcro that I'm gonna put down here in a second. So first thing though, before I line those up, is I'm really gonna get the main bulk of the cover situated and in place. So we'll start doing that. So now we have the 20 section backrest installed, but we're finishing the install by putting on these sticky back Velcro pieces down to the console. So the inside of this console needs these sticky back Velcro. Now, I prepped it up by cutting the edges. I like rounded edges so they don't catch as much. So I rounded these edges here first. Also, if it's a cold day, you're gonna wanna heat this up. So put them by a heater. You can even turn on the truck, kind of run the heat on them. But you want that adhesive to be warmish, and you can run it in your hands as well and just kind of get that adhesive warmed up a little bit, so that way it's gonna stick a little bit better. The other thing that you wanna do is clean out the inside of this console with some little alcohol prep pads. And that's gonna help keep this adhesive to stick down better, especially if you've cleaned off the console recently with any kind of cleaner that has any kind of lotion type, you know, it's just stuff that's not gonna stick down. So just clean it off nice. And now what we're gonna do is find the location for where we're gonna put all of these sticky back Velcro. And we're gonna do that before we actually install them, before we stick any of them down, because I wanna make sure that they're all in the right location. So I got this one, kind of finding the location. What I'm doing is I'm pulling this around, making sure it's gonna finish out how I want it to finish out. I see this one needs to be about right here. And also I'm gonna trim off about that much of this Velcro strip right here, because I'd rather have that not show up on the coin tray right there. And that's really all I need on this one, is just a little stick of Velcro about that long. So that one will be right there. And then this one on the inside is gonna be about inside here. So I kind of make a mental picture of that, okay? And then these ones are gonna stick down right on the sides right there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put all the sticky Velcro down, and then we'll stick them down after that. So now I've stuck down the 4 different sticky back Velcro pieces. So I've got one right here, one here, and then these 2 on this inside as well right here. Now, when I pulled those off, again, it was just, I was just pulling off kind of the back of the Velcro. I tried real hard not to put my fingers on this portion right there. I obviously didn't do that because that's the sticky back portion. When you peel this off, you just want to put that right onto the plastic so it's going to stick. Get the best chance for sticking as well. Again, and once I stick those on, I try to rub those in, just kind of push in, let that adhesive really adhere there. And then also I'm gonna push in on these other ones there, just kind of get those to stick down. Okay, and the other thing I'm gonna do is when I install this down, I'm gonna pull, but then when I stick this down, I'm not gonna pull much on it after I've stuck it down, okay? So I'm gonna pull there, and now I'm gonna stick this down right there. And again, I'm not gonna yank on it or kind of pull it off, check it very much. I'm just gonna trust that it's stuck down there and not give much pressure on it while that adhesive is still kind of setting, okay? So you just push in there and things are good there. I'm gonna trim just one little piece while I'm at it on this. Just kind of take off an edge right there. So as I'm reaching to that console, it's not gonna catch much. Okay, the other ones I'm gonna do are these two over here. Again, I'm pulling on the console right there, and then I'm just kind of laying it over and laying them down onto that Velcro. Just like that, okay? So now that I got that down, I'm gonna adjust this one just a little bit. Just didn't like how it laid down. Okay, that's a little bit flat, more flat right there. Okay, so now that is stuck down and you have the 20 section backrest and the lid here done. Let me show you this real quick. What we did on the lid back here is these two sections attached to each other right here, okay? So there's a Velcro on that 20 section bottom and it attaches to the lid cover right here, okay? So, and one little trick that we found is as you lift up that lid to about right here, and then stick those two together. That'll give you a little bit more space, and then as it pulls down, it's just gonna tighten that together right there. Okay, so that's how those two attach back there. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the 20 section bottom now. So I got my gloves back on. This is a good reminder. These installs, when you're doing these, it's always good to wear kind of a light pair of gloves because there's Velcro and these materials are real durable materials, so it can scuff up your hands a little bit and just protects from getting any bloody knuckles. So, okay, so I know that this one had a tag, said 20 section bottom on it. Most of the time they're gonna have tags just to identify them, but this one's the bottom because I see it was a little bit thicker than the top piece, and also there's a cutout right here for this bottom section opening. This is a bottom storage that has, so it's called 20 section bottom storage. That just means that there's a storage compartment underneath the 20 section right here. And the lid, how this cover works is pretty simple. You just pull it on right here. There's that handle piece is gonna pop through that right there. I'm gonna have to just kind of work that a little bit more. It's a little tight, but then it pops over, okay? So that popped over there, and then I'm just keeping this Velcro back. This is all cloth underneath here, so make sure you fold back this Velcro, or else it'll stick down the entire time you're trying to pull that down. So I just have it folded back until I'm ready to actually stick it down. I got this pretty much situated right there before I stick it down, and what I'll do now is I'll actually put this guy down first. So just kind of getting that seat belt out of the way right there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece, fold that underneath, and this one's a little bit of a tighter fit for you, but what you do is you just kind of start that underneath right there, keep your hand back there, and then as you fold it forward, it's gonna stick to that cloth on the back side right there. Okay, so that's how that one works. We got this seat belt underneath the 20 section door here, so I'm just gonna kind of pop that out so that it doesn't get caught. So We got that out now. And now what you can do is just take this section right here and just fold that over. Okay, and then that sticks down to the cloth right there. So we're gonna do the driver's side, for the front driver's side now, and we're gonna start with the driver bottom. So I have the driver bottom cover here, and how I know it's the driver bottom is that there is a label on this one, it says driver's bottom, okay? So I'm just gonna pull that label off. Now, if it doesn't have a label on there, then I also know this customer ordered a driver's side pistol holster, and we only put the pistol holster on the driver's side. So that's another identifier right there for you. This is a really nice set. It's a Kryptek Raid trim with a black Dura Easy Care insert. Just is a great combo. This truck has lots of blacks and grays in it, and it's gonna look really great. So anyhow, what we're gonna do now is get these straps ready. So these are the straps that are gonna feed onto the back side there. And this is the outside string as well. So I got that, it was tied in a knot before, and I got that untied now. And so I'm just gonna start getting this situated, kind of put into place here. And before I stick anything down or tighten anything, I wanna just kind of form it into place. Make sure the seams are, that's front seam, I want that to be lining up, you know, not curving around too far forward, not too far back. And the next thing that I'll start doing is push this side down right there, and I won't stick that yet. And then I'm gonna have you come around back and I'll show you these here now. So you're gonna need to release this flap as part of this install right here. This is a felt kind of back flap right here. And you're just gonna reach underneath, and there's these little clips on this particular ram, real easy. There's these clips that just unhook, okay, 2 of them. And you just reach underneath, unclip those. Super easy, but get that undone. Now we're going to tuck in this fabric on this side right here with the plastic fiber stick tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna push that in right there. Okay, and then this string, we're gonna put that string through later, but right now I'm just pushing this fabric in so that it all just tucks in. It's gonna look really nice, tucked into this plastic trim right there. And now also right here, I'm gonna push these straps and this back side of this cover through the seat. Okay, now that I have that back felt unclipped right there, then it should push through just fine and not meet a lot of resistance. You may have some cables, like an airbag cable or something like that, going through, and just kind of work around that as you're pushing this through. And I'm gonna push all these straps through as well. So those all come through now. And then we're getting close to coming to the back again. But one thing I'm gonna do again on here is I'm gonna take this string right now. This is probably the most complicated part of the install, so pay attention, get a notepad, take some notes here, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna push this little string through the seat. I see a lot of customers go to the outside, go on the outside right there, and that just does not look good, so don't do that. Okay, you're gonna wanna take this string and you're gonna drop it through. Okay, so I'm gonna opening up the seat cushion right there, and there's a little hole right there. I'm just gonna take this, and I'm just gonna drop it on the inside of that. These Rams, there's more space than some of the Fords, so it's actually easier as far as this portion. So I'm just pushing that through right there, and that string is gonna drop down, and then go, boom, there it is, okay? That string is now on the inside of that plastic, in between the seat cushion and this outside plastic trim. And so now I'm gonna just bring that around to the back side, and we'll be able to tie that off in a second here. Okay, the most important part on this install, drop that string through. So now we have this other side. This string right here, you don't have to push it through any holes. It's actually just gonna go around the full outside of the seat right there. But before I actually take that around, I'm gonna take this is a Velcro piece right here that is gonna stick to cloth underneath it, down on the seat right here. So I'm just gonna reach down, and as you just reach that down there, you'll feel it, and it just kind of finds the cloth. You even have to, it kind of goes on between this seat belt attachment piece and the seat right there, and it just grips onto cloth right there. So that'll grip on there, and now this string just goes around the outside. You just drop that down right there on the outside of it, and now we're ready to go back around to the back side. So now we have these straps. We have 3 straps, 2 outside straps, 1 middle strap. And I'm just gonna give this a yank, you know, make sure this is all pulled nice and snug. And before I actually do these straps, I'm gonna take this string, and this is one of the more complicated parts that you gotta figure out how to do, is this string right here, along with the other string that I dropped down on the other side over here. So I got that one right here. So I got these two strings right here, and kind of pull on those two right there. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie a loop in one of them, and we'll see if you can see this on the video, but I'm gonna tie a loop in itself right there. So I got a loop on one end now, right there, okay? So little noose, and then this side right here, I'm gonna take this string and go through that loop right there, and then that's gonna be able to allow me to kind of cinch this up tight. And the other thing I'm gonna do on this one is I'm gonna just kind of pull on this side, just straight back. I like pulling straight back rather than at like a 90-degree angle, because straight back allows it to get a little bit tighter without risking breaking the string. You can break these strings. I've broken them before. I've had customers break them. So you don't want to pull on it too hard. This string is mostly for aesthetics anyhow. It just kind of hugs up the corners. And what I'm doing now is I'm just tying this off to the string off to itself right now, and then we will be good to go as far as the string goes. And then now that we have the string tied off right there, we're all set there. I'm just gonna check in to make sure that that string is not gonna catch on anything. One trick I like to do is move the seat forward and back, so that way I know if it's gonna catch on anything. So I kind of just check it like that, just move it back and forth, see if the string is catching. And so now that I have it forward, I've moved it back, go underneath, check the string. Okay, looks like everything's been fine under there. Nothing's caught, hasn't pulled or ripped the string or anything like that. So we're good to go on proceeding with the install. Sometimes I'll have customers, and I've even done this as well at times, is I've installed it and I've put it around the wrong section, like a stationary section, and then I move the seat forward and the string catches and kind of prevents the seat from moving forward. So you don't want to avoid that. Okay, so now we're gonna take this back side, this strip right here, this back side of this cover. The first one I'm gonna do is this middle strap right here. Okay, so this middle strap is gonna go underneath to a solid bar. Okay, and there are lots of solid bars on these Rams, so you just got a solid kind of spring bar underneath there, and a solid piece, and then it's gonna come back to itself. Okay, this is called the safety strap. It's just, you know, just an extra secure strap to make sure it never slides forward. Goes through the middle piece right there, okay, and then the outside piece. The middle slot and then the outside slot, okay? So now that I got that down, I'm gonna give that a pull right there. So that's feeling real snug. Okay, so that's good there. Now I'm gonna take these 2 outside straps, and they're gonna go all the way up to the front to buckles, and then they'll cinch on. So that's what I'll feed these underneath right now. And again, I'm trying to avoid going around too many electrical cables and you know, anything that might be sensitive to a lot of pressure underneath here. So I'm just avoiding that and trying to go as close to the seat as possible, and you know, just kind of checking out underneath there that I'm not giving a lot of pressure on electrical units and cables underneath. This string right here, I'm just gonna get it out of the way and just kind of go underneath and tuck it under a spring as well. I like to just kind of keep it a little bit more clean. Now, so this buckle, if you can see this buckle right here, this is the buckle that these straps are gonna come up to, okay? So there's 2 of these front buckles. And I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna go through the middle strap right here, and then the outside strap again, just like how I showed you on that back one back there. But now these are going front to back, so it's going to keep the cover from, just keep it all down nice and tight. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a pull right now, not too tight yet. I'm going to get this other one put on before I do that. Looking underneath, making sure that, you know, everything's kind of lined up down there how I want it. Again, going through the middle, and then the outside buckles right there. Okay, bringing that down. And sometimes I gotta take my watch off for this because it's a little bit of a tighter spot to get your hand underneath there to cinch this up. So, and then the other thing that I do, this is the other technique, is you wanna push down on the cover up at the top. I compress that as you pull, okay? And that just gets everything nice and snug as you're doing that. Okay, so nice. That's looking really good right there. Everything is, man, that's awesome. I mean, that's just a good looking cover right there. This is again Black Dura insert, Kryptek Raid trim, looking sweet. So the other thing I'll do now is once I have those just how I want them, that looks good. I'm gonna take the excess straps and tuck those underneath a spring. That's what I'm doing with this other hand underneath there. Just reach underneath, tuck those under a spring, and then we're ready to do the driver backrest. So now we're doing the driver backrest section here. It was labeled, so I'm gonna take that label off. And first step is gonna be taking off the headrest piece here. So I got that headrest, just get that out of the way for a second. And then I'm putting my gloves back on for this one. And now we're gonna open up there's a bottom section here that you just need to open up. And also this is the airbag compatible Velcro tabs on the side. Get those opened up. Pop this over. The other thing I'll do is check those if it has rear pockets. This one actually does not have rear pockets, so I won't worry about cleaning anything out because there's no pockets. But normally if you have pockets, just check back there because the seat cover will go over those pockets. And this customer ordered rear fabric pockets, so he's gonna get some pockets now as far as having some extra storage, so that'll be nice for him. So really just working this around, put it into place. And before I get too far down, one thing I like to do is I like to get it situated to the point where these headrests are ready to go around the headrest post sections. Okay, so, and I'm gonna use the fiber stick tool, the white fiber stick tool. Again, this is included. This tool is included in your install. Helps with that. And I'm gonna get that around. These rams are a little bit of a tighter fit, but boom, look how smooth that went on. So not a bad job right there. So I like to start with the push button section first over here. If you can see that, here's the push button. I like to do that one first because that can kind of catch if you don't do that one first. So I just like to put it around first like that, and then just kind of work it around. Nice, sweet. That's the way to do it. Okay, don't leave your install done without getting that around those pieces. It looks so much better when you do that. I've seen customers, you know, finish their install without actually finishing and putting it around those headrest posts. So that's the way to do it right there, okay? To do that, now I'm just kind of tightening down and kind of forming everything into place here. Before I'll actually push this through right now, this is the front felt right here, and that front felt is actually gonna stick down to, there was a back piece of Velcro that was sewn onto this bottom section. And so it's kind of on the top of this bottom section. And this felt is gonna go push through and then stick onto that Velcro right there. Okay, so the top and the bottom kind of work together in that aspect. And they're separate covers, but they just work together to install. Makes a little bit of an easier install for you, because we used to have straps, or there used to be these elastic straps that would take a lot longer to install. This is a new method, and George came up with that method, and started making the install so much better. Okay, so I got that pushed through right there now, and that's looking good right there. So just gonna get that all pushed into place right there, and then I'm gonna finish installing the back. So let's come around on the back side and fold that up forward a little bit right there. So, okay, so this is back side now. I'm just gonna make sure everything's lining up. I like to check all the seams and lines and make sure everything's looking how it should. Here's that rear fabric pocket this customer ordered. Nice little pocket. You can throw some extra storage, or just, you know, storage items back there, a jacket, gloves, whatever else you might want back there. It's a pretty simple pocket. We also do a special ops package. We offer that, and that's a nice setup, is the special ops package. So that's what I have, and it's set up for rifles and a lot more pockets back there, but this is another option for you, is to do the rear fabric pockets. Okay, so just getting this all set up right here. So what I'm gonna do now, this is looking pretty good right here. I'm gonna take this felt flap that I just pushed through, and I'm gonna pull it a little bit more, make sure that I got all the slack pulled out from the front side. Just kind of roll it up, give it a nice pull, and now all we're gonna do is, when we're ready to, when we got that front, you know, slack pulled out, again, I'm just kind of pulling all the sides of that, making sure it's even and pulled through. And all we're gonna do now is stick that down to the Velcro. Okay, so after you installed that bottom cover, there's Velcro on the outside of it, and that just sticks down. That Velcro, super straightforward, super easy way to do that install. So you just push that in right there. I like to leave these extra, kind of the extra felt that didn't stick down to the Velcro. I just like to leave it up like that, because then this is gonna come back down and cover over that and just gonna hold those up right there. So I'll do this now, is I'll actually, since that bottom is down, that's all finished down there, I'll take this here and actually put these clips back on, okay? So I'm gonna take this clip, reach underneath. They just go back to these little bars, these little metal bars underneath there. Just reach underneath, clips on right there. This other one as well down here, clips on, okay? And since I folded that black felt back underneath there, then it just really just shows black right there. So you don't really notice that at all. And then the cover now is gonna come over. I'm gonna pull this down nice and tight, and then just stick that down right there. So the next piece that we're gonna do is the airbag pieces right here. So, and really that's pretty straightforward. You just take these pieces and just stick them back onto each other. Okay, and so that's boom, looks really good. That's so the airbag can deploy, can come out if you ever need that. Now I want to show you something. I messed up a little bit on this, but it's a good teaching opportunity for you. I was really cranking on that back felt right there, and I just really pulled it as hard as I could, but and I finished it out without looking. And if you look at this, I really pulled it a little bit too tight. So when I like set this back, look how tight. I mean, it really just kind of pulled that a little too tight right there. So I'm actually gonna release that a little bit. I mean, it's got this nice and tight, so I still like that. I do want it tight against the seat right there, but I'm gonna try to release it just a little bit, maybe even just like a ½ inch, and just kind of take out some of this stress on the fabric right there. The fabric's gonna be fine, but it's more for aesthetics than anything if you want it to finish out without having kind of that stress right there. So I'll probably release the middle section a little bit, and it should take out some of that. It'll look good. Okay, so I've just loosened it up a little bit on the back side, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking my hands now and just kind of pushing it side to side, kind of straightening out that material, and that's taken some of, you know, as much as I want out of it right now. So that's looking better. I'm just gonna kind of just check it as I move forward and back right there. And this is gonna be my finished spot, like right there. That's how the seat is gonna sit most of the time. So I'll get it about that position, looking about just about how I want it to, right there. That's looking a lot better. And what I'll do now is just kind of push that back down on the Velcro back there. So again, now that I got that all kind of set up right there, just stick that down. Okay, so again, the last piece was on this backrest was just to stick that Velcro back down to the felt flap once you have it hooked back on. Okay, so that's all looking really nice back there. Rear fabric pocket right there. Things are looking good up here, matching up. Now we're gonna do the headrest piece. So now we're gonna do the driver headrest cover. And here's the headrest cover right now. I know it's the front because it's a little bit larger. The rear ones can be larger, but this one's, as far as the shape works, I can tell that it's this cover. Also, it was in the same bag as the front cover, so that'd be the other way to tell. So the nice thing to know on this is there's a hook Velcro, and that's typically the front side. Okay, so that hook Velcro comes down right there. It's a little bit wider, and that skinny section is the back piece right there. Okay, so this is gonna go over, and these are a little bit tighter, okay? But it's gonna look awesome as far as once you get it on. So you can have it on the seat like this, or you could put it down. Sometimes it's helpful. You wanna compress this down, okay? You're gonna need to do that to install this. And it can be helpful to put it on the ground, even like take it inside and maybe do these on your carpet or something like that, because it's nice to get a little bit more leverage, really kind of compress this headrest down as these are going on. You'll see once I finish this how nice and tight it looks. But I want to show you this technique because you want to push that in and push the material into the headrest, and that really helps to avoid splitting any of these corner seams right there. If you really try to force it too much, you can split some of the fabric there. Contact us if you do. We're happy to help you out and get a solution for you if that happens. But what I'm doing here is, again, I'm just gonna compress him down and pushing that in, and I'll kind of finish getting it all lined up once I get it through but once I get the cover around the majority of the seat right there. You just take your time with these pieces. Again, it just takes a little bit of effort to kind of get it around. But again, you don't want to force this. So I'm kind of bringing these corners around now. And then there's this back flap that needs to come through right there. Holding these out right there. That's the bottom piece right there. Kind of those bottom corner pieces, so it hugs in right there. So I got that side out. I need to get this side out now. Right here. Again, helpful to kind of just compress that down as you're doing that. Okay, so I got the front, it's kind of at an angle right now. So I see that, okay, I need to get this lined up straight a little bit better. So I'm gonna just roll the cover around while it's on here and get it lined up a little bit better. And I just check it every now and then, and kind of, I'm gonna roll it into place, checking my lines, and just going straight up and down like that. So I actually have it folded a little too far forward. I'm gonna roll this back a little bit more. I know it's too far forward because there's like a lot of fabric showing on the back side right there. So I'm gonna fold that. You might see a little fabric on that back side, but it shouldn't be a whole lot. So again, I'm just kind of rolling the fabric around back, and I'm getting pretty close, but I want to roll it back a little bit more. There we go, that's looking a lot better. And then once I get that together, I'm gonna stick those two together like that right there, okay? So, That's how it should look finished out right there. Okay, all lines are going straight down. And I see, you know, full coverage around it right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna take that, get it pushed in, and to release this and push it back in, you gotta press these little buttons on these sides right here, okay? So, it should go all the way down, just like that, okay? So this headrest the headrest cover was made from the Kryptek Raid material, same as the trim material right there. So the passenger backrest, bottom section, and headrest are all gonna be the exact same install as the driver's seat. So just repeat those steps for the passenger seat. Okay, so now we are on the rear seat, and we're gonna do the rear backrest first. I have the rear backrest cover for this Ram here, and I know it's the backrest cover because biggest identifier is these headrest posts, or the cutouts for the headrest posts. So you just look for those, and when you find those, you know that's for the backrest, okay? And the first step is gonna be taking out the headrest, and you're gonna be able to do that by pushing in the buttons underneath. All of these have buttons, okay? So you just push in the buttons, and these will all release here. Chevy's the only one that makes this real complicated. They have like little holes that you have to push a little wire into, but these ones are not too bad. You do have to lift this seat up a little bit though to get this headrest out all the way, okay? And then it releases there, and take off the third one. Once you have the headrest off, now you can start getting the backrest piece put into place. The very first thing you want to do is identify that this is the middle seat belt right here, and don't just start installing it right away. I've had customers rush into it and they realize, oh, where's my middle seat belt? It's gone now. So what you got to do is just pull this out and then put the cover underneath, okay? Slide that underneath there. Now you still have your seat belt going right there, and next thing is just to start getting it kind of fit into place. And one thing I like to do is after I start to kind of get it kind of put into place, one thing that's really going to help with keeping it in place is putting these headrest pieces, putting these headrest post trim pieces in place, okay? So I'm gonna grab the fiber stick tool, which is in my back pocket here, and I'm gonna do these first, okay? Because that's gonna hold it in place as I tighten everything around. Now these are pretty tight on these back ones. The front ones has a pattern where they're a little bit larger up there. So you're gonna notice that this is gonna be real tight as I start to put this around. And I'm gonna show you another little trick to do as you're doing these, because it's gonna be super tight. And again, I like to start with that push button first so it doesn't catch as I go around on the other side. You can get started on this, but you're gonna notice that, you know, it's getting pretty tight here. So I'm gonna show you a little trick. You can do it one of two ways. You can just kind of keep working it, and it'll just tear the material just enough so that you can work it on, okay? But the other thing that you can do here is that you can take a pair of scissors, and got some over here. So you take a pair of scissors. What you can do is you can cut four little slits, okay, in the material. Not real big, again, on this. You just want to have a couple little slits that's going to help you get it on, okay? And this material is not just going to cut and then just run on you. But again, you don't want to cut too much of it. So I'm cutting four little slits in this, and that's just going to open it up a little bit more. So I got kind of one over right here, and one in each corner, okay? And that's just going to, again, open it up a little bit more. I may do it a little bit bigger, but look at that. Even just using my hands now, I was able to pop that over. And as long as I keep those small slits, you're not gonna see any of that. Okay, so do the same thing for this next one. And then also these middle ones, these are really tight too. So you're definitely gonna wanna do it on these ones, and you don't have a lot of room in between the two. So again, just do all 4 slits around each one of these posts, and it's going to go on so much easier. Again, you could work it with the tool and just kind of barely tear the material, and but this is the better technique to do. Just give it a small little slit. So I did that same technique. Again, cut the 4 slits, 4 small slits in each one of these, and pop those over. So you can see how nice they all fit like that. Again, I've had customers install this without doing that. That's just terrible. You know, do that, do it the right way, okay? And that's a motto for life as well. Do it the right way, do it right the first time, okay? Next step now is to slide these straps on the back side here, because on this particular cab, this back seat does not fold forward. Some trucks do, but this one doesn't. So it becomes a little bit of a trickier install, so I'm glad you're here watching the install video just to learn how to do it, okay? So first thing is I'm gonna take each of these straps, okay, and just so you know, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's see, yep, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine straps on here, okay? The odd one is this one that goes right in between, right there for the seatbelt section right there, okay? So I'm gonna take all 9 straps, and there's gonna be 9 buckles as well down below, okay? So each strap is gonna go to its own buckle, okay? And one thing you're gonna wanna do is before you get going through everything, make sure you line up the correct strap with the correct buckle, because I've done that before. I've made that mistake where I've got done and like tightened all 5 or 6 of them going, and then I realized I was one off, and so then I had to go loosen them all up, undo them, and redo them. So that'd be the first thing I would do, is pass these straps through to the buckles and just match them all up before I really get cranking down on anything. So another tip is, if you have gear in the back here, remove that out right now, because we're gonna be getting in and out underneath here quite a bit with this part of the install. So I would just take everything out, and because again, I need this space to be able to kind of lay right here underneath, and it's gonna simplify the install a lot if you get some of this out and if you can get underneath there. So the sides here have this elastic strap right here, and that's to keep the side tucked in nice and tight, and so that is looking good on the side here, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do though is you're gonna wanna pass this elastic strap, and two options for you, okay? So what you can do is, this elastic strap is designed so you just reach it behind the seat, and you reach up and you tie it off to one of those straps going top to bottom. Now the other thing that you can do is you can take this strap, and the other side has the same strap, and you could take a string and tie a string to one end, and then go to the other end, and then just loop it around, and then pull that string together. The straps aren't long enough to tie off to themselves, but what you can do is, if you just have a string, you can tie, again, just tie a knot here, take it to the other side, loop it around, and then cinch them together, and then you just tie that all off, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do right here is I'm just gonna reach behind there. You won't, with the camera, we really won't be able to show this, but I'm just reaching it behind. I'm gonna grab it with my other hand, and then I'm just gonna reach underneath and just go to one of those straps underneath there, and then just tie it off. It's kind of a tight spot. That's why I offer you the string option as well. That may be easier for you, but this is the other way to do it. So I know I said there were 2 options for tying off these elastics underneath here. There's actually a third, okay? So again, you could tie the string, do the string method, tie it off to one of these, but the other way is called the loop through technique, okay? So you reach this underneath, and you can put it through. What I did is I unbuckled one of these straps. Kind of dark under here, but hopefully you can see some of this. I unbuckled one of these straps that's a little bit farther in, and so that the elastic is pretty tight. But then what I'm gonna do is I loop this through right here, and so then I can see that, okay, that elastic, that's got some tension to it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold on to this, and and weave it back through the buckle. So again, I undid the strap and released it from the buckle, but now I'm gonna put it back through the buckle with that elastic around it now. And that'll save you from having to tie it off. So that's the third method there. So we got the backrest all on now. Looks nice and tight and awesome. So now we're gonna do the bottom section, so the bottom cover to the backrest. And this is a straight bench backrest. Some backrests are split bench. So you gotta let us know if most backrests are a 60-40 split. So there's a split seat in there. And a lot of backrests, rear seats have a fold down cup holder or armrest back here. So you gotta let us know, okay, do you have the armrest cup holder? And do you have a split seat back there, or is it one large solid seat? And this one's solid backrest, solid bottom rest. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this over. This bottom section is a pretty straightforward install, really, because there's just gonna be this felt backing to it right here, and then that's gonna stick onto this Velcro that's gonna go around on the other side. So it's gonna just hook around to itself. And then there's these little cutouts right here that we're gonna wanna make sure that we pop through the child seatbelt attachments as well. Okay, so we're gonna pull this over and kind of line it up. One thing you wanna try to avoid is this Velcro will stick to that cloth pretty quick. And it's not gonna stick there, so you just wanna try to avoid that. And as you're pulling this over, it should be just a nice, snug fit on the whole thing here. I'm just gonna work down the two sides with it. I'll also pull down the middle here a little bit. I like to fold it up a little bit like that and then get a grip on there. So we're getting close to being done on that side. And then we can do the same thing over here. Just kind of fold it up a little bit like that, and then I can get a good grip on it. Pull down. Good, so we're getting close. Pull down a little bit more there. This is a nice cover for this back seat, because a lot of the time you might have this back seat locked up, you know, or just up there and your gear down here. And you're gonna have full coverage underneath the seat, which is really a nice feature to have it covered underneath there. I've seen a lot of other covers that just kind of go over the top, don't cover the bottom. And that's lame, because you know this cloth is going to get dirty if you don't cover that. So you gotta get it covered. Okay, so now that we're getting pretty close there, it feels like we've pretty much got that pulled in there. I'm gonna start folding this down and making sure that I don't go over the seat belts, and I go in between the seat belts here. I'm pushing this down here, and these slits should just line up just right with the seatbelt attachment bars. Again, I'm pushing all this felt through here. Having the seat up like that opens up the space there for your hand. So you kind of just work it back and forth like this. Again, I went over a bar. I went over a seatbelt right there, I can feel, so gotta pop that seatbelt out. Make sure you don't cover over those. Okay, good. So yeah, those bars are just lining up perfect, right where I want them to line up. Once I get that through, I'll even give it some more, just kind of tug it down a little bit more. Really making sure that got that pulled in as tight as I can get it. Again, pushing that felt flap through there. Nice, so now we're just gonna push that through and then end up attaching those two on the back there. Okay, so now we're gonna finish out this back seat with the headrest covers, okay? So here's the two outside ones are the large ones, okay? And again, the hook Velcro, that's gonna be the front, that's the wider one as well. So the wider Velcro is gonna be the front side. So I'm gonna put this on here. Again, you wanna compress these down as you're putting them on, and take your time with them so you don't split the corner seams as well, okay? So I'm pushing in that fabric as I put these on, just working it in. Again, you could do this inside, put it on carpet, kind of compress it down a little bit more. I'm just using my leg and hand to get this on here. Okay, so now that I got the body of it on here, I'm just gonna keep pushing it down like this here. There's that back flap right there. Okay, and then these corners are gonna come down, gonna pop out around it. Need to work it down a little bit more to finish that out. Gotta really try to get that. You wanna make sure that you pop out this full underside of the cover, because that's what's gonna give you bottom coverage on that corner piece right there. That's how you want that to pop out, and then that's gonna fold underneath right there, like that. And then just kind of work out the rest of it here, get it laid down, and then attach those two pieces together right there.